Assalamu alaikum, viewers, and many thanks for staying here with us as we bring you all our special coverage for Jalsa Salana UK 2024. Welcome to our special studio program where we explore the profound teachings of Islam that emphasize the importance of serving the less fortunate. Well, as a cornerstone of our faith, Muslims are encouraged to contribute positively towards society, ensuring that we uphold our responsibility to aid and serve mankind. Join us as we delve into these Islamic principles and discuss how the AMC follows the pristine teachings of Islam by providing services to humanity worldwide and helping those in the remotest and most deprived areas. Joining me in the studio this afternoon are two persons who know a lot about the topic we're about to discuss. I'll begin with Nuruddin Okubena Sahib. Nuruddin is a missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community in Nigeria. Many thanks for joining us here in our studio and also the Jalsa grounds. We also have Fazal Ahmed Sahib. Fazal Ahmed Sahib is serving in Humanity First UK, and we are very grateful that you have made time to join us as well. Nuruddin Sahib, let me begin the conversation with you so that we put things in perspective. Can we look at the Islamic teachings in respect of serving mankind, man serving his fellow man, and again, what kind of examples did the Holy Prophet Muhammad himself set for us in this regard?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. جزاكم الله خيرا for the question. Well, Islam as a religion has taught man virtually everything that has to do with faith that will enable him to live a better life. When we talk about service to humanity, one of the fundamental teachings of Islam is that, according to the Holy Quran, in Quran chapter 20, verses 119 and 120, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala laid some principles, some fundamental needs that man must have. Allah says, Inna laka alla taju'a fiha wa la ta'ra. That Allah has decreed that while you are there on this earth, you should not be hungry. Likewise, you should not be naked. That means there's need for man to be provided with food as well as to be provided with clothing. Allah further says, وَأَنَّكَ لَا تَذْمَأُ فِيهَا وَلَا تَضْحَى. And Allah has also decreed that while you are there, you should not be thirsty and you should not be exposed to the sun, which means there's need for man to have food, drink, as well as accommodation. So all these things are necessary for mankind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in several verses of the Holy Quran has informed us about the importance of service to humanity. Allah says that man should always do good to each other. Allah also enjoined us to be true Muslims by serving other people. You know, in fact, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in one of his ahadith said, "Khairun nas ma yanfa'un nas." That the best of mankind is he who benefits others. So, as Muslims, we should always show concern for others. In fact, Allah tells us that a true Muslim is one who
so I'll come to you again in respect of that question, so you continue, but just to bring Fazal into the picture at the moment. You know, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community supports many communities worldwide through the Humanity First charity organization. Can you take us through some of the projects and initiatives that have already been undertaken by Humanity First?
Okay. Zakla for inviting me on the program. We work throughout the world, but particularly in Africa, on poverty alleviation projects. And what you find in Africa, like everywhere else, is that in the cities there are many resources available, but when you go to the rural areas, then you find a lack of facilities, a lack of opportunities. So Humanity First's main role is in those rural areas, and in Africa we'll be talking about north of Tamale in Ghana, or east of Mansa Konko in Gambia and so on and so forth. We are trying to encourage and help communities to get themselves out of poverty. We do that by helping them with agriculture projects, access to water, which is a basic human right, access to healthcare, access to education and training. And in this way, we are encouraging those communities to then invest in their own communities, invest in their own services, and lift themselves out of poverty. This is how development can be sustainable. The old model where engineers and doctors just come out from Europe to Africa and they expect the host community to just watch, that's not a sensible plan. We need to be bringing the community in together, asking them what they need, and providing them with services that help them to develop.
Nuruddin Sahib, going back to the issue that you were talking about, we realize that a lot of the suffering in the world today is not caused by a natural disaster. It's however caused by, if you like, injustice, nations causing injustice to other nations, as a result of which we see all these sufferings among people. His Holiness Hazrat Masroor Ahmed has been addressing some of these issues. What exactly has he been telling world leaders in respect of injustice in the world leading to suffering of the masses?
Jazakallah. As you know that our beloved Uzur, Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz, has been in the forefront of preaching peace. And in fact, he has been trying all his efforts to ensure that peace reigns in the world. As rightly said, especially during the recent Israel and Hamas war, Uzur Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz has come out boldly to tell the world that peace must reign. In fact, he told them that if there is war between communities, we are expected to only attack those who are fighting you. You should not attack the innocent ones like children, like women, like people who are not part of the world. So he said it categorically that creating clean lives and destroying properties is not an Islamic injunction. It's not something that is against humanity for you to destroy lives, for you to destroy innocent people, and to cause a sort of destruction in their lives and properties. So this is totally against the teachings of Islam. And this is the same teaching that beloved Uzur Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasril Aziz has been telling the world, that you need to come to peace. You need to eschew all acts of violence and to embrace peace and show love and kindness to one another. So this is the same teaching that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us, and this is the same teaching that is being echoed by our beloved Uzur Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasril.
Fazl Sahib, I'll turn again to you. So we've seen, and he has made specific reference to Gaza and what's all going on there, but beyond that, we've seen poverty in parts of Africa, even in parts of Asia, and the rest of the world indeed. You have spoken about generally the projects that Humanity First has undertaken. Can we now speak to specifics? What can you point to? And earlier on, when we were off air, you spoke about the Gambia, for example. Tell us about specifics and how the ordinary man out there who is touched by the message and the aims and objectives of the establishment of Humanity First, and who may want to make a contribution, how do they come in at all?
So I think, first of all, talking about disasters, the whole world is watching Gaza, but at the same time, Sudan is disintegrating. And there are many more displaced people from Sudan than even from Gaza. They're going into Chad and Congo and Central African Republic and many of these countries. Congo Republic is also suffering in the same way. And we find that instability in many countries. The way to address that is through education. So if I give you an example, in the Central River region of Gambia, Surrey Malang, those kinds of towns between, say, Mansa Konko and eastwards, we, just doing one project there and one project there doesn't have an impact. But in one community, this is 3 villages, we put a solar borehole to serve all of them. Solar water borehole. So there's no manual pumping anymore. The borehole is going to last many, many years, inshallah. Then we help the women in those communities to do gardening projects. So we fed irrigation from that solar borehole to the gardening area. We fenced it for them. We gave them seeds, tools, irrigation, all the resources, and now they're growing fruit and vegetables for themselves. They sell it in the market. It helps them to be able to afford to buy resources for their children when they're going to school, uniform, books, other resources.
All right, Father Sabi, I will ask you to hold on there. I'll certainly return to you because I'd like to find out from you before we wrap up on this session who your target helpers are. I mean, those you help, who you target. Is it only Muslims? Is it only Ahmadiyya Muslims? Is it the general public? But Zaki Saib is on standby at one of our exhibition stands, and he's ready to give us information as to what's happening there right now. Zaki, over to you. What's happening where you are?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Abdul Hayy Sahib, I'm standing here and you can see behind me where the exhibition of Humanity First is. Remember when I was in Bazaar, I showed you what they are doing there, trying to raise money for those people who are suffering in Gaza. That exhibition that you are seeing there, if you enter there, you will see whatever they do throughout the year. But the real tent that is special this year is this tent. This tent has been erected here by Humanity First, and let us see what makes this tent special. And the real man is here, Dr. Aziz Saib, to tell us what makes this tent special. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So here we have an exhibit of life in Gaza. This is a typical UN specification tent that Humanity First is providing to Gazans at £350 a piece. Inside you can see real life living conditions on how people live. So this is real life, sadly. This is a bucket that's sadly used for a toilet. These are some images of some of the challenges there. This is the seating conditions, as you can see. This is what they use for a carpet. The soundtrack that you can hear is the sound of the drones actually in the tent. This is taken on his phone. This is how they use for clean water. So a bucket, the water, obviously is a prayer mat there for his prayers. This is how they cook, just with some old tins and some twigs, and they stoke a fire. You can smell the smoke in the tent. And this is storage for water. This is sponge mattress, if they're lucky. So our brother that's actually living in these conditions, he says he's actually living a very good life, because there are many people living far worse than this.
Jazakumullah Sanjana, to tell us what is happening there. I know you were there, we saw it on social media. Tell us what you felt when you went on ground to see what is happening in Gaza.
So as you know, Gaza is a country of 2.3 million people, and 90% of them are displaced. So we have a team in Gaza led by Yasser Shaheen, our team lead, Ahmadiyya Muslims in Gaza. They are running all our projects there for food, for water, for education, for psychology. Our team from the UK, myself, Yusuf Aftab and Usman Deen, were able to gain permission to visit in January. I mean, it's undescribable, the scenes that we saw. You can imagine we are now in July, and the time then, now is far worse than it was then. I mean, then, again, food was an issue. There are people literally picking grass up and collecting it to boil and eat. Sanitation, each person, 450 to 600 people per toilet. Skin conditions, because the water is so unclean. Obviously health, so many health issues. Our team doing their level best, as you can see from the pictures, to try within the limited situation to provide some help for those people.
You have told us about the team, and I've been here for only a few minutes, and I cannot bear the sound in this tent. So tell me,
children, and this is what they hear. So this sound is recorded on his phone. It's recorded on his phone in his tent, and we are playing it on a loop. And this is what his children listen to every night. Every night. So this is not bombing. These are just drones, and they make you go crazy at night.
So how is it life like for a devotee of Humanity First right inside Gaza?
It's difficult. So like with all Gazans, they're all IDPs. They struggle to find food for themselves. They struggle to find water for themselves. Yet our volunteers are still, despite that, trying to serve thousands and thousands and thousands of others at the same time as trying to fill their own stomachs, and generally with a bowl of beans a day.
That is how life is in Gaza, and Humanity First is doing its best to serve the people in Gaza and even in other countries, as you've heard.